Welcome to another Sunday Comics. So this time, there's all the introduction thing here about why I'm doing this, but I forgot to bring it up on the audio cue. So let's go into Francis Todd, Caribou, one of Broken Frontier's six to watch. Um, and um, these images aren't particularly typical of what's going on inside, but we can make some sort of generalizations. There's a kind of Jim Woodring, Mousy Duff kind of narrative thing going on. Also, like versions of the Robert Crumb, Dan Clowes kind of influence. It's a very non-linear story set the Japanese style of aspect to aspect, but Western, obviously, to the point where for many of these, I'm never quite sure what is actually happening. And so it's really difficult to summarize the plot or even talk about the plot because it's more of a plot by feeling and by thinking. You know what's going on. It's got an unusual relationship with clarification, and some of these are straighter than others. Not that one. Yeah. Sometimes when you edit, keep the ums in. Uh, the Church, which is a story about the artist and church that they found a disused building when they were young. A story which may or may not be true, honestly, but it is believable. I really like Francis's color work. There's only the front back covers are color. So can we just like give Francis loads of money to make color work? 'Cause that would be really, really cool. As it goes on, issue two has a bit more sort of elements, a bit more like Chester Brown, Seth, the Drawn Quarterly trio back in the 90s. That's my reference point. And the latest one, I have Caribou 1 and 2, and Caribou 4 is the next, which is an economical little mini comic. I do love my mini comics. Now, I'm going to count this as my mini comic extra for this week. So it continues or offshoots on Stamen, which is Francis's ongoing series, which looks set to be finished and collected at some point. It just, I'm speaking in terms of the sense that I get off of it. For a mini comic, this is so much content. He, I think, has the train on a page before as well. And absolutely, this isn't a criticism, this is an opinion and a compliment. Doesn't need to spend the panel beats on giving us so much train, but obviously the artist feels it's necessary. So praise be to them. It's a story of young males and a comfortable relationship. The mini comic, I mean, this is true of all like the Caribou bag ones too, gives full content, but the mini disguisingly so. I mean, look at that. Okay, that's going to be a fun little read, right? Probably not an awful lot to it. Wrong. Booyah. Mic drop for Francis Todd. So, right. The mini I was going to line up was from 2011, which is 15 years ago now. It's by Deirdre Barra. Um, really good graphic design, functionality with humor and funny little fun. Deirdre just used a A4 sheet, cut it in the middle, made a booklet from it. I love this sort of stuff, and I usually will pick them up at design fairs. There's not really any good comics festivals near me. There's one a year in Enniskillen, which is like about 3 hours there, 3 hours back. The last bus is at 6, and it's Northern Ireland, really only genuine comics festival. Dublin has a number of independent and design ones. Anyway, so now you know that. But where I was going, if you've any of these little mini comics, reach out to me. Or if you've any to recommend, I take review copies. I buy them in. I love these little. I love mini comics. I love something. You can just tuck away in my hoodie. Yeah, as you do. So, okay. So, final cartoonist today is John Robbins. So, John Robbins, regular checkers out of my stuff and things. Well, no, I'm a great fan of John. This is vacancy for sale, one of his collections from the 90s of prose and comics. Actually, was that all prose? Yeah. John writes a lot of prose. And I never quite know what I'm getting. This is another 90s collection when he was like incredibly active, it seemed. And still is quite, despite doing the Alan Moore of claiming he'd retired from comics to me. He's still really active. I got some lovely stuff in this week. The psychic, or a couple of weeks ago, from a psychic scrutineer series. So I'm gonna put a few pages up over there on the other side. Yeah, so he's really good at using like abstract stuff, cartoony stuff. Has become a really accomplished illustrator. This is something a bit more recent. This is The Hemlock Hand. John delights in really hilarious dialogue, uh, manipulating his characters on a meta level to speak and observe as he might. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. It's a ride. It's a real ride. Occasionally, more lately, he's given us more sort of psychedelic, weird stuff. I mean, John's stuff's always been weird, but it's kind of more explicitly so now. I mean, that's sort of a Phil Barrett kind of style of cartooning, and then something associated more with the uh, children's humor comics line. Very sort of versatile illustrator, artist. Hand of Fingers, which is another collection of shorts. This is one of two big trade books, I think, or glossies by John, which you can get from the Black Sheep shop. Link in the description. Another one is Unlucky, Unlikely, which is included as a free PDF. John has donated this on my own Patreon site, patreon.com/Andy Luke. It'll be the 9th year of doing stuff up there in May. So for a bottom minimum of £1 for 30 days, you can go in and access 9 years of archival material. That's really good. This is a comic based on L'Ombre Familiare. the film, and I believe John used some screen caps to go in and draw and paint over and inform the visual look of this adaptation. So I'll leave links to all those in the descriptions. Again, if you are poor, I've been there. I'm not a person who likes having loads of belongings. So if you would like my second-hand copies of any of these comics featured tonight, if you're on low income, DM me. I'll give them to you for just the cost of the postage. Otherwise, go and buy them from the artists' stores link below. Not below, because that's my crotch, but just below my crotch are the comments. Maybe this is why I get cancelled. So I just opened the package. Oh, it's Boxes. So Boxes is an anthology title by, I don't know. It's edited by Stephen Ingram. There's a little bear thing. I picked this up just to get a feel of who's making what nowadays. There's Gareth Brooks, whose work I'm familiar with and is great fun. The rest of those names I don't know, so this is going to be a good voyage of discovery. So I'll talk to you about that next Sunday. Leave me stuff in the comments. Leave everybody stuff in the comments. Let them know what comics you're reading. Let's stimulate the conversation. Let's keep ideas in motion so they remain in motion. Thank you very much for joining me.